the regular board meeting for July 10th, 2017. Roll call, please.
Carrier? Here. Iden?
Here.
Jones?
Yes.
Author?
Yes.
And Better?
Yes.
All present.
And a welcome to any visitors and the presenters today. And we will stand for the pledge. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Your non-pauses are coming along very well. We're happy about that. One nation under God, we got it. All right. And now we have a presentation about the senior class trip coming up this year.
Just yes, guys. Do you want to click?
All right, Kate will love your assistant today.
Thank you.
All right, thanks for having us tonight. I'm here to talk about the class of 2018 and their senior trip. Since their freshman year, the class of 2018 has wanted to go somewhere warm for their senior trip. They've accumulated for just under $15,000 in their class account as of July 1st, and they expect to earn an additional $11,850 during the next school year. Worked very hard to build their balance with unique fundraising events. Classes earned money, opening and closing concession stands, hosting daddy-daughter dances, mother-son challenges, and dodgeball tournaments. The class takes pride that they've sold very few items, relying mainly on participation activities. This is a Twitter survey that we just did briefly, so it may include non-related or non-relevant votes. But Orlando was 47%, New York 24%, and 29% stated they're not going. I will say back in the fall of 2016, we did a survey just to the class. We had 50 respondents. The 4 things that they wanted to do included the beach, a cruise, something involved swim or water park, and number 4 was relaxation. 52% of them wanted to go somewhere they've never been or won't have the opportunity to go to. 40% just wanted to go somewhere that they could relax. And the locations given in that survey, 38% wanted to go to Florida, 28% New York City, 6% wanted to do 3 small class trips, but 24% wanted to stay at a resort and relax. So it seems like relaxation kind of is what this class like to have involved. The class received permission to have a travel agent provide pricing and itineraries for Orlando and New York City for their senior trip. With the oil prices being down, airfare costs are substantially lower than what they have been historically. Preliminary Orlando itineraries include 1 day at the beach, 2 days visiting Universal Studios, Islands of Adventure, Volcano Bay Water Park, and Universal City Walk, which are all the Universal properties. Recently, we've come across that as an option, a SeaWorld Discovery Cove, where you meet and swim with the dolphins. 1 day at SeaWorld Amusement Park and 1 day at Aquatica. So we're receiving pricing for those as well. Detailed itineraries would be to be determined.
Universal Studios has several educational programs that can be added on for a special small fee. You can go on a Behind the Adventure tour, a special FX tour of marketing and sales. You can learn about the ride design, and then you can learn about career exploration and preparation, and then leadership skills and development.
And those are just a sampling of what they have offered as educational programs at Universal. To kind of go into detail there, Behind the Adventures tour. On this tour, your students will learn real-life applications of physics, technology, and general sciences that were used to design and build this theme park. Your group will be able to check out how the amazing adventures of Spider-Man and the incredible Hulk coaster work, and learn how literature plays a role in Universal Islands of Adventure. We would anticipate having one or two choices for the students to attend as an add-on to the park, give a little bit more of an educational experience. So I mentioned that the travel agent's also going to present an itinerary for a trip to include SeaWorld's Discovery Cove. It is a 3-hour experience in which students would interact with and learn about marine animals. The trip would include visits to SeaWorld Amusement Park and Aquatic and Water Park. The next slide is just a map of what Discovery Cove is and what the park encompasses.
A visitor that visited Universal said that during my time at Universal Orlando, I discovered activities that students would love. At the Horror Makeup Show in Universal Studios, Florida, I learned how filmmakers have created gory horror movie scenes. Although I was a little nervous at first, the hosts were hilarious. I would actually consider this show to be more humorous than frightening. Personally, I enjoyed the part when an audience volunteer allowed the demonstrator to cut off her arm using a special knife. At Jurassic Park and Universal's Islands of Adventure, my younger brother and I experimented with DNA and discovered what's inside dinosaur eggs in the lab. We also had a blast playing a quiz show game where we answered dinosaur trivia questions with little help from other guests.
As I pointed out to Jennifer as I've been to Universal Studios and Gage has as well, we went to a special effects tour where there's a show, and we learned about kind of stunt drivers. They put on a show how different cars created different stunts. And they made an example, the Italian Job movie where cars are driving backwards, and you kind of wonder how the stunt driver is able to drive at those high speeds. Well, they actually construct the car. They put the engine, they more or less pick up the body of the car and reverse it. So the person sitting in there, where it looks, it appears that the car's driving backwards. But just community effects. So this is called a senior trip. And the definition of a trip is an act of going to a place and returning, a journey or excursion, especially for pleasure. So I guess I highlight the word pleasure there. So in our opinion, the students should have a voice in where the majority of their class wants to go. For some students, this could provide a first experience flying on an airplane, traveling, being away from their parents, managing their time and money, and are all valuable life lessons. As with previous senior trips, a security guard will be hired to observe and monitor the hotel during the night. That's wherever we would go. Chaperones will create checkpoints at each location to ensure the location of the students. We know that safety and security of the students is paramount. We have plans to work with Mr. Farrell to include a STEM lesson plan for the trip. And we've reached out to the previous advisor, Mr. Seiler, that was the last HHS class to travel to Florida. We understand it was the 2002 class, I believe, somewhere in that time frame. We've received some of the pricing. To fly to Orlando, we envision flying the best option, being in a bus for that period of time that it would take to get there. We don't see that as a viable option. From talking to previous advisors, somewhere in that $800 to $1,000 range is what it has cost each student in the past. So these are just kind of the samples that we've received so far. The detailed, she would like to get better pricing on the flights, I guess, and those don't become available until that September-ish range.
We do have a pricing on one of the higher priced airlines because they do provide those with like with Delta and stuff, but later, closer, to September is when your Allegiant and JetBlue and those put out their pricing. So we can place some money hold these, but it's all refundable, and then we can go ahead and purchase the lower price tickets to get the lowest price possible for our students. It's just an option. Right?
And she received the pricing for the motor coach to New York City with most of the usual sites and sounds, bells and whistles of New York. If given permission, the class advisors would like to move forward with completing a detailed itinerary and pricing to present to the students and parents early in the 2017-18 school year. We will involve the classes, student council, and officers to be able to present the trips that are most attractive to the majority of the class of 2018. We'd like the destination to be chosen by the students after evaluating the choices and the pricing for each option. At this time, I guess we'd like to open up for a question and answer. We're not sure if we make a decision tonight or how that process goes exactly.
I think you guys have done a lot of work, put a lot of thought in it. It's a very nice presentation. As far as I'm concerned, I wish you the best. I'd love to see you go.
I know some of the concerns, just dealing with our own experiences, that you have to get the correct balance of relaxation and activities for the students to do. Dealing with the students, they want relaxation time. Sometimes you give them that relaxation time and 10 minutes in, they're bored. So,
Now, is your thought, I mean, because by May, it's getting pretty nice around here, are you thinking about trying to go earlier in the year or staying with that time frame?
stay in that same March, right before spring break.
Oh, in March, okay.
Yep. So that's what we investigated different areas of Florida. That northern part, that average temperature still wasn't quite,
You don't know where you're gonna get.
Yeah. Whereas if you get further into Orlando, it seems like the average temperature's in the higher 70s for that mid to late March timeframe.
It seems like I've been seeing class of 2018 on a lot of stuff, like the daddy-daughter dance and all that. Where do you guys, if you had to place yourself compared to the last, how many years, are you more money in your account, less than, or equal to similar amounts?
I believe we're in the upper echelon
Okay.
of the averages.
You guys have definitely, like Danny said, you put in a lot of work. So.
And that's what we've kind of gone after, the event type of planning for those. For students. Yeah.
Well, and we appreciate that.
Yeah.
The community
Everyone
does.
Yeah.
As far as the fear of going to Florida, because I know we've kind of been going more in the area or up to New York. I know Wayne Trace, my niece was in band and cheer. She went twice in 1 year. They flew one time, and then they did take a motor coach one time, and both were successful. That was with Wayne Trace. But they had both those trips in 1 year, and they were both successful. So I know there's a lot of schools in the area that do this trip for band, cheer, lots of different competitions. So we could even reach out and, kind of just explore different problems that they might have had, or, suggestions that they would have to ease, worries or to make it a little more comfortable.
I know one of the concerns that we've had over the past few years is the number of kids that get to go, because sometimes it gets priced so high that it's out of the price for a lot of the students, and then they're not able to go. And I know that that's been something that we've talked about in the past, where we want to see as many kids go as can go. So
One of the things that we talked about, and I believe we'll probably move forward with, is to entice as many as possible that will be using our point system for at least the last 2 years of their school. The first 2 years, the money earned, we're going to offer, if they make a $75 deposit, this class will automatically match it. So that right there, they have $150 towards there. If we're in that $800 to $900 range, given the amount of funds and who has worked thus far, there's 15 to 20 students that are primarily or mostly paid already, just the work they've done thus far.
We do offer a lot of opportunities for the kids, like cleaning the gymnasium, helping in the concessions. We have daddy-daughter dance, decorating, pre-decorating, when they had prom. We did decide to do that money
That's
flip
our thought.
with the point, because the point system kind of went away. So that was our way of,
Splitting it equally among all the students.
we wanted to make it fair because we didn't have the point system our sophomore year. So we thought if we would split what we made that year per student and then offer that back to the students as a starter so that they all start with something. So
What percentage in years past of the students that have one versus the roughly 24% they're at right now?
Last year was not good at all.
no.
We'd like to know why.
Well, that is why we kind of pre-surveyed them on would you go anyway? Because some students, they just don't have an interest in going. So we feel that pre-survey of would you even go? Like, because I know with prom, a lot of people, some kids weren't interested. That's not their thing. Some may not go just because they merely may not go.
What's the cost? So if you're looking at Florida, you said 800 to 1,000. If you go to New York, is it similar price? I know you
Yeah.
kind of went through
Actually,
that,
it looked
but
like it was more a little bit.
It's about 200.
It just depends. I mean, I think the initial was in that 925 range for a single. That's just a preliminary of events, sites that we would see. From talking, I believe Eric Kroll was 2 years ago, and talking to him, that was a pretty similar. That class did very good with their fundraising, so they, they were able to add more, but most of their students, or a lot of their students, had financial aid through the class
I
funds.
was thinking 8 or 9 years ago, listening to it, but it was about that price then, so.
Well, the price is so fluctuating depending on if you go over that 52 or 53, attendees, then you have to bump up that other motor coach, and then your price goes up because you have to pay for all of those seats. So that's where your price can fluctuate too. You might have, a nice price trip, but if your attendance is down, you can fit on one motor coach. You add more, you bump up to that next motor coach, which also can bump your price up.
And I know how many kids go has been an issue, it's been an issue for a long time. But on the other hand, as a parent going to those events and helping with the fundraising, you always have the same 20 or less kids help fundraise. So I mean, they've had 3 years up until now to help fundraise. I mean, I offered rides to kids to go help do stuff, and
And so if
You know-
they choose not to work,
right, if they choose not to work for 3 years. Right, I mean, I hate to say that, but I mean, it's not.
that's a lesson in itself as well. When you have the opportunity to help and participate and lessen the cost, and you choose not to, I think that's just as much of a life lesson as going.
Because the opportunities.
I agree with you.
I agree.
Yeah, so, but I will say, last year's was not, I think that was for other reasons, but.
And I tried to voice to the kids, with all of the not knowing, hey, you have to make of it what it is. It's another time together. It doesn't matter where you go, it's just another time together, and you can make those, those memories together. So whether the kids take advantage of that or not, obviously Chad and I just got back from Florida, I brought the brochures, but we know it's a fun experience down there. A lot of people have never been to the beach, never been to Florida and seeing palm trees. I think it would be a fun experience no matter what we do or where we go. Same thing as for New York, of course. I would never turn that down.
It seems like it would be harder to, I think it's security, kind of crowd control, where are these kids, kind of, that seems like that would be much harder in Florida to me.
We do have a good group of parents that have shown interest in wanting to go, and we will set up like a time schedule of, like Chad would have so many students, I would have so many students, Melissa would have so many students, and we would do checkpoints with those students. And, of course, we would have our Cecilia, we could use her as a checkpoint, where the students have to check in. Because, I mean, they go to Cedar Point for student council and stuff, so we have, mature kids who've showed us that they can be mature and
That's
hard.
some of the areas where we would reach out to other groups that have taken
Yeah.
The bigger groups, you guys need, I mean, sure they split up, you know.
I think you guys have done a good job thinking it through.
We do talk about meeting at certain times too, so we do get those dinners together or breakfast together and, you know, bringing the group together for certain activities, whether it be the educational component or whatever it is, that we would come together for, you know.
Folks need time to think about it, or?
I know.
Whichever one they choose, in my opinion, is it,
Yeah, the one
You
that the
know,
kids vote for will be the
be
one
fine with me.
do. And then go from there.
Thank you.
Thank you for your time.
We were thinking about Alaska too. No.
Yeah, charge me that for a lot.
I wish they could go at different times than March. You know, anybody who's been to Florida or Disney World during that time knows
Yeah.
that first week in
It's all
March to about the
peaceful.
second week in April is just the worst
It's all
time to be
peaceful.
there.
Yeah, Universal was crazy.
It is. You can stay in line for.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thanks for coming.
Guess what? It's the Christie show.
Who gets to go first? Well, first of all, I'd like to introduce to you Christopher Olson. He will be our new elementary music teacher. And so he came in about 2.5 hours away. So
Just the other side of Cleveland.
I thought maybe you'd bring your wife.
We were going to, both of us were under the weather yesterday, and so we were going to come in yesterday and not today, but we had to push it back today. And she was like, I think we have a 1-year-old as well. So we were like, I think we're just going to hang at the hotel tonight and just sort of take it easy. So, but they will be around soon,
Okay.
maybe even tomorrow, actually.
Oh, so they are with you? just-
Yes, we're staying in Defiance right now. So.
Oh, okay. Good. Well, thank you for coming on this way.
Yeah, no kidding.
Thanks. And sorry for our lateness. I got wires crossed and thought it was 6:30 instead of 6, so.
No worry, no worry.
that's what I was doing.
I think you had Defiance College colors on it first.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I'll go ahead and share with you, Andy was going to be here this evening, but he is stuck at his house. He has a small river around him right now, and he cannot get out of his driveway. So,
I have a video.
Yes.
If you'd like to see it.
he has fish in his front yard from his pond that are floating around in his front yard. Yeah, not too happy. So, high school summer school participants completed session 1 in June. They had 8 students take advantage of the program. Many of the students earned between 0.5 and 1.5 remediation credits. Session 2 began today and will run through Thursday. Middle school summer school will begin on August 7th and end August 11th, and they're still taking registrations. The senior athletic banner photo shoot will be on August 1st. Players will contact their coaches to borrow the uniform and their choice of banner. And then student schedule change requests for the upcoming school year will take place on August 18, 21, and 22nd. Additional information will be sent to the students and parents. So that's middle school and high school information. At the elementary level, I have been working on kindergarten jumpstart camp. We are fortunate to be able to offer 2 classes this year, so we have 27 students that we've sent letters out to. We've heard back from 10 families, and then I also have a list of, like, once I come back at like the beginning of August, if I get some no's, then there's a second list that I will start calling so we can get as many kiddos through that program as possible. Also, I've been working on tools for schools. This was something that was put in Travis's lab last year, probably late spring, early summer. And the United Way had contacted him and asked him to just try to help with some school supplies for our students that are on the free and reduced lunches. And so I know that it was quite a task for him last year. And I let him kind of do that little kitty, and so this year it was obviously then passed on to me. And I think it was such a whirlwind for him. Like, I called him and asked him some questions, and he couldn't even remember, like, how he came up with his number. He was just like, well, just, guesstimate what you think we may need. So what I did is I went through the May 2017 free and reduced lunch schedule, and I came up with 201 elementary students that we currently have on that free and reduced. And then I looked each student up to see what grade level they were going into. So, for example, we have 37 first graders that are on that list. We have 37 fifth graders, 28 fourth graders, because I didn't know how to guesstimate. And so I called Pam Slattery, and she said, we did run out of materials quite quickly last year. So then I just took the school list, and I just highlighted pocket folders and glue sticks and scissors, crayons, pencils, pencil boxes, more of the things that I know that they would need for the classroom. And then I individually went through, and if there were 28 fourth graders and they needed 5 folders, I did it that route. I went through the office supply catalog, and I came up with a very large number of $6,784 of school supplies. So then Melissa did find the PO on Monday, and he had requisitioned 2,000, a little different than what I had done. So then I called United Way and just got some really great information from her. Next year I plan to partner with churches, do house competitions, maybe have a community drive. But I did go home that night and I plugged everything back into Walmart at their current prices, and I was able to shave off about $2,200 on that amount. And so right now I'm in the process of asking United Way, the Rotary, next Wednesday, I think Andy's going to speak for me at the Eagles to try to get some donations for this. But I really am confident that if I start the, partner up with churches in different places here in Hicksville, I'm very confident that I don't think I'll have to go for donations next year. It's just, I didn't do that this year because I was unaware. I just thought that this is the process that you do, that there was just some grant money floating around for school supplies. I don't know. So that is what I have been working on.
You also should contact Susan Mack with the Community Service Center, because we have always helped with that also, like last year.
Is that here?
Yeah.
And I'm going to contact Katie from the Ravens, because she said they're very successful
And
on
she
how.
also comes to town.
Okay. And so I have all of that stuff written down, but I said, as of now, it's just.
We brought it up in our last meeting, actually, what are we doing for tools for schools this year? Because we had planned a couple of years ago to do a filled out bus thing, but there was some miscommunication with another organization. And so
It was really like a light bulb went off, and she said, well, this is how, the Ravens do it. And I'm like, oh, these are supposed to be dry. So I think,
Defiance Area Foundation.
what is it?
Defiance Area Foundation.
She is going to ask them for me because she said, I have no clue like how much they're planning on donating, but I just basically kind of pleaded, and I said, I can promise you that.
Between all those organizations, I think you can do okay.
That's what I figured. Even if I couldn't do, because there does need to be some type of system to, I know the Ravens has the parents, take some responsibility and fill out some information. This year we might be just handing it over to the ones that are on that list, but I do think there needs to be some type of, yes. So I just don't know what that looks like yet, but I will be talking to you. So I think that's it.
Any questions? All right, Mr. Vetter.
Well, short and sweet. Had our meeting, approved our 5-year forecast. A big thing on our budget is the lunchroom report is it's going south instead of heading north, and it's going to be over 100K this year.
Oh, yeah.
Some of it, lunches are down. Some of it's because what they're allowed to charge versus what it costs them. And staff, pricing and everything's going to increase with that too. So we're looking at some other things to do with that, and we're getting the budget around to start the air conditioning replacements that we talked about before. So that's about it. That's all I have for now. Otherwise, everything's running, smooth.
All right, Mr. Countryman?
Yes, well, it's been a busy summer from beginning of May till now. And typically, first of all, thanks, because we typically don't have to have a July meeting. So thank you for coming tonight. I know that while I was gone, or one while I was gone, one when I wasn't, we had 2 other meetings in between there too. So appreciate the extra time you're coming in and approving those things we need to take care of at that time. For here at the school, catch up for me from being gone. The new phone system is currently in the process of being installed. We talked about that, and that is done. One little concern we have is that with this new system, we need to figure out how we're going to do the wireless portion for the custodians. So we're going to do some checking on that, because they're saying we can't do that, but we have to have that. So there's always a way to do something. So we're figure that out. So anyhow, that's getting installed. They're also pulling wire like crazy and installing new cameras in the building for the new camera system. I'm really excited about that. I think that's going to be awesome.
Can, at a future meeting, if we have
Oh, yes.
a look at that?
Yeah, we're not even, yeah.
Oh, no, future.
Maybe August,
Yeah.
September, yeah, absolutely. And, we'll even be able to pull the cameras up on our phone from wherever we're at, so that's good too. And then you'll notice that there's the 2 sections out here, the parent loop and the bus loop are blocked off. Those are the only 2 sections that have not been completed with the crack filling for asphalt completion. So once that's done, they get a little break here in the weather, that they can slip back here and get that done. Then that part will all be done for the year. Other than that, from me being gone and our last time of meeting just earlier last week, I think we're in pretty good shape here. Things are,
Have we heard anything about Bruce since recovery?
no, I did not.
I thought about it earlier today.
Kind of impressed there.
I did see Eric today, and I forgot to ask him about that, but he didn't say anything either. So.
Yeah, wow.
All right, that's it.
All right, so we will move on to the consent agenda. Just making sure, are there any items that need to be removed?
Yes, there are. We'd like to pull the approval of the Title I tutors. So that would be the 2 items at the top of page 5. Title I tutors for 2017-18 school year, Miranda, Jay, and Amanda, and also for Kate Haggerty, this next one down is a Title I tutor. Not because we don't want them, they do a wonderful job, but we're unclear of our title money at this point, and I would feel better if we just hold off on that until August, and I can do some more exploring, make sure we're going to have the funds to cover all of those people before we approve them. So they've all expressed an interest in wanting to come back. I know that they're also looking for full-time jobs somewhere else too, so, like our title employees do every year. So it's not going to matter, I don't think, if we wait till August to approve them. We want them back, and if we have the funds, we certainly want them here. So, yes, Kristen.
I just realized from Robin, I have Christopher down as assistant elementary musical, because I thought that the regular musical one was taken by Mr. Supel, and it is not. So I don't know how I need to, I was interested in it, it's just I thought that the assistant was the only thing that was open. So I put him in there as the assistant elementary musical.
So you want him as the actual elementary
Yes.
musical director?
Yes.
So just
Put a
cross
line
off.
there.
Yes.
Okay, got it. I know that Brent resigned, because he sent Travis a email, he CC'd me.
Yeah, I only asked, do we have to post that? We posted.
I would think you would.
We have posted the assistant and the head, we didn't get any interest. Didn't we post both positions? We posted the elementary musical position, and the assistant musical position.
You've already posted them this year?
Did we post those?
I think so.
Yeah, we posted them, so we didn't get any interest. I don't see a problem with that. Okay,
Let's
so-
just make sure that it was posted, and nobody,
Can we just put it on next month, can't we? I mean, is it a big deal or not? I mean,
It's
yeah,
not-
just put it next month,
Okay.
just to make sure technically
I think that's a
that
good idea.
we're doing things right.
Yeah, that way we can check that through our records to make sure we
Yeah,
get
it's
that.
probably not an issue at all.
So Chris, I don't see, expressed your interest, you're first on the list.
tag your ed.
We're going to pull the Chris from the assistant elementary musical director. We're
Page.
pulling that,
Four.
page 4.
About in the middle, under the first
Yeah.
bullet.
Six
Got
up,
that?
6 up from the bottom.
I do. And then the 2 title positions at the top of page 5. Anything else? Good catch on that, Kirsten, thanks.
Thanks, Rob.
Yeah, that's right.
And we'll put that on the, Chris, in August, okay? Which will be here for you know it.
Any other changes?
Mhm.
All right, so I need a motion to approve the consent agenda as it is
So
now.
moved.
Thank you, Debbie, and a
I'll
second.
second.
Thank you, Craig. Roll call, please.
Carrier? Yes. Iden?
Yes.
Jones?
Yes.
Mazer?
Yes.
And Better?
Yes.
Motion passes 5-0. Moving on to minutes and financials. Motion. Thank you, Jen. Thank you. So hopefully you've checked over the minutes from the regular board meeting and the special board meetings that we've had. Any questions or discussion on those? All right, so we'll move on to your report, Melissa.
I really don't have anything to report. I met enough. But I think we've kind of gone over a lot of things. But I do want to rave about our new requisition system. That has been in. I contacted some teachers and I'm like, hey, I know that you're oh, Robin used it today. Yeah, I've contacted some teachers and I'm like, hey, if you want to come in and you know, kind of learn how to do it, because I know in the first couple days I had the athletic director and Eric to turn around and use it, and Eric's like, this doesn't work, or, you know, can't do this, can't do this. So trying to still work out some bugs, but for the most part, it's going pretty well. You used it today.
I used it today
You've been approving
for
stuff.
doing a requisition, and then prior to that, I've been approving stuff that gets submitted to me from different people, so it really
Yeah.
seems to be very user-friendly, and I can still ask the questions that I need to ask
Yep.
before approving it, so yeah, good thing.
So all of that basically is handled electronically, the emails. and
There's
everything.
electronic signatures on everything, and then I don't have I got the scanner today in the mail. It kind of got lost the first time around, but
Like when a teacher does something, it'll go to the principal for approval, right?
Mhm.
And then from the principal, it'll come to me, and from me, it goes to her.
right. And it shoots them then something saying, like, hey, look, you know, you've submitted, or, you know, the purchase order's been approved. So once I hit submit, it sends them back an email saying, hey, here's your purchase order number. And then when the invoices will come in, we'll scan them, we'll turn around and tell that, hey, it goes to, you know, it's in regards to this purchase order number, so it'll send the teacher or the requisitioner, like, here's your purchase order. If they turn around and check the box that they want to email to the vendor, then it'll also send that email straight to the vendor and straight to them. If they don't want that, then they can turn around and take that purchase order then and submit that to the vendor themselves. So, yeah, it's kind of, right now, it's kind of exciting. So, like I said, working out the little bugs, but it's going so far so good.
And I will say, I know that when the beginning of the year rolls around, and we're going to work on training of the employees, but you know how that goes. Sometimes something new is always a challenge. But if
But I've been-
we
yeah.
didn't learn some new things, then you get pretty stale. So we'll get through it. And
But I've tried to go through, like, even over the weekend, trying to put restrictions in so that they don't see every account. One, they don't want to know, and it gets too cumbersome. It gets too much. So just kind of being like, okay, here's your general teacher supplies, here's your, you know, your line items that you need to see, and hopefully that will kind of help them out too, so that they don't see everything.
And I'll say, Melissa's, over the past year, has been working on getting appropriations and getting teachers to submit their appropriations. And that's been a process in itself with some bumps in the road, but that has gotten easier as well for everybody. And it's really going to be a lot smoother, and everybody's going to know how much money they have, and when it's gone, don't come ask for more type thing. So it'll be a lot
Right.
easier, I think, to monitor.
Yeah, I think so too. So that's all I have.
So item number 3 is to accept the following donation, $271.35 from APT Manufacturing for student of the quarter lunch. Roll call, please.
Carrier? Yes. Iden?
Yes.
Jones?
Yes.
Mazer?
Yes.
And Better?
Yes.
Motion passes 5-0. Moving on to the employment of certified staff. A motion, please.
I'll move.
Recommend issuing a 2-year contract to Kirsten Kaufman as elementary K-4 school principal commencing August 1st, 2017 and ending July 31st, 2019. Discussion.
I think we probably should at least mention, so the newspapers can get it out there, or at least they're aware that we went from a 4 administrator system down to a 3 administrator system. So we're looking at ways to cut costs and still make sure we're maintaining all the services that we've had in the past.
Are you ready for?
What was eliminated?
An assistant principal,
Well, kind of 2 assistant principals. So we went to a high school principal, a middle school principal, and an elementary principal. And you'll see that here in the notes here, Pete.
Travis, what?
Yeah, I knew that.
Yeah.
So instead of hiring a new one, we just reconfigured. All right.
Are you ready for a new adventure?
She's been in here
Are
a
you still
while
going to dance on the
already.
table, though? All right. Okay.
congratulations.
Yeah, congratulations.
Roll call, please.
Carrier? Yes. Iden?
Yes.
Jones?
Yes.
Mazer?
Yes.
And Better?
Yes.
Motion passes 5-0. Congratulations, Kristen. It is official. I need a motion for middle school.
Second.
Recommend issuing a 2-year contract to Andrew Hunter as middle school 5 through 8 principal commencing August 1st, 2017 and ending July 31st, 2019. Discussion.
I'd just like to say I'm excited about the way we decided to do it. I'm excited that we rearranged the staff that we had and the staff that we love. And so I was kind of excited with the proposal when you guys came out with it. I thought it was pretty neat we have to.
Good.
Roll call, please.
Carrier? Yes. Iden?
Yes.
Jones?
Yes.
Mazer?
Yes.
And Better?
Yes.
Motion passes 5-0. Next motion, please. Thank you, Jen. I'll second. You got it?
Go ahead.
Second. Recommend issuing a 1-year contract to Christopher Olson as classroom instructor with a master's degree and 6 years experience for the 2017-2018 school year. Recommend to approve the following supplemental contracts for extended days during the 2017-2018 school year to be served before and after the scheduled school year. Mike Blue, 12 days, Robin Chamberlain, 10 days, Jeff Hott, 10 days, Matt Hoffman, 25 days, Zach Kohlmeyer, 10 days, thank you. Marilyn Leone, 10 days, Rachel Mann, 10 days, Paul Overmeyer, 10 days, and Jeff Schaefer, 35 days. Recommend to approve the following supplemental contracts for the 2017-2018 school year pending certification and background check to Robin Chamberlain, Kirsten Kaufman, Andrea Deal, Nathan Farrell, Joy Geiger, Lynn Gherkin, Andy Hunter, Amy Carrickson, Christopher Olson, Don Perna, Tim Schott, Lucas Smith, and Heather Taylor. Recommend to approve the following LPDC committee members for the 2017-2018 school year. Jeff Hott, Matt Hoffman, Beth Stuckey, Andy Hunter, and Jeff Slattery. Recommend to approve the following as SLO committee members for the 2017-2018 school year. Mike Blue, Sandy Brown, Andrea Deal, Nathan Farrell, Chris Gagan, Jeff Hott, Linda Lindquist. To approve the following as volunteers for the 2017-2018 school year pending certification and background check. Sean Bergman for volunteer football, Heather Chapman, and Julie Siebenaler. Recommend to approve the following as kindergarten jumpstart camp instructors from August 14th to August 18th of 2017. Miranda Decatur, Linda Husted, Destiny Nye, and Missy Ruoff. Recommend to approve the following as 50-50 middle school summer school instructor from August 7th to August 11th, 2017. Amber Mack for $26.88 per hour, not to exceed 45 hours. Recommend to approve all certified elementary staff in grades K through 6 for after-school intervention at a rate of $26.88 per hour for the 2017-2018 school year to be funded through federal Title I-A grant funds.
I have a question. Remind me, what is LPTC?
That is,
Local Professional Development Committee. And they are the ones that approve the professional development that teachers take at different times throughout the year.
And what's SO?
student running.
Student learning what?
Objectives.
Objectives, okay.
Oh, wait.
That's a requirement.
I didn't say that out loud.
Pendulum just swings. There are a couple ways to go about it. All right, any other discussion on this? All right, roll call, please.
Carrier?
Yes.
Iden?
Yes.
Jones?
Yes.
Mazer?
Yes.
Better?
Yes.
Motion passes 5-0. Employment of classified staff. Motion, please. Thank you, Linda. Thank you, Jen. Recommend to approve Library Media Center extended hours for common clicker as a rate of $16.21 per hour for the 2017-2018 school year. Recommend to approve the resignation from Todd Schock as assistant football coach for the 2017-2018 school year. Recommend to approve the following supplemental contracts for the 2017-2018 school year pending certification and background check. Jake North for weight room strength conditioning coach, Nick Post, assistant football coach, Troy Potter, mini aces football, Riley Whitty, cheerleading advisor, grades 7 through 8, Jamie Slattery, mini aces volleyball coach. And recommend to approve the following as volunteers for the 2017-2018 school year pending certification and background check. Kate Moreni for volunteer volleyball, Shane Bostic for football volunteer, and Avery Demlin for volleyball. Discussion.
I know we've said it before, but I appreciate everything that those volunteers and coaches and everybody go through. I know we've talked about just what a process it is to be able to volunteer. So just appreciate that very much.
And even the people that are being paid.
Yeah.
What they're being paid is so minimal compared to what they
The
have to
hours
do
that
with the
they put in.
certification, the background check, and the hours they have to put in, that we are
Every year.
extremely thankful for that.
Any other discussion? Roll call, please.
Carrier?
Yes.
Iden?
Yes.
Jones?
Yes.
Mazer?
Yes.
And Better?
Motion passes 5-0. Moving on to services and agreements. Motion, please. Thank you, Jen.
I'll second.
Thank you, Craig. Recommend to approve Julian and Group, we have the papers in the packet, to perform the agreed-upon procedures engagement for the district's 2017-2018 and 2018-2019 Medicaid school program. Cost report is specified by the Ohio Department of Education at a cost not to exceed $1,600 per year. Recommend to approve a NOVA service agreement with Fayette local schools for grad point licenses beginning with the 2017-2018 school year. Recommend to approve the following athletic department issues for the 2017-2018 school year. The involvement in the OHSAA regular season and tournament events for gymnastics at no cost to the school district. Involvement in indoor track events at no cost to the school district. Discussion. Okay. Roll call, please.
Carrier? Yes. Iden?
Yes.
Jones?
Yes.
Mazer?
Yes.
And Better?
Yes.
Motion passes 5-0. Moving into other business.
I'll move.
Okay.
I'll second.
And there is a resolution of intent not to provide career technical education in grades 7 through 8, relatively standard. Any discussion on this? Yeah, I know. So, yeah, it is done every year, as I said, it's a standard issue. Any discussion? All right, roll call, please.
Carrier? Yes. Iden?
Yes.
Jones?
Yes.
Mazer?
Yes.
And Better?
Yes.
Motion passes 5-0. Moving on. Thank you, Jen. Thank you, Jen. Recommend to approve the annual payment of property liability and fleet insurance invoice in the amount of $39,240 from the Ohio School Plan. Premium includes Ohio School Plan's risk management services. Recommend to approve the elementary student handbook for the 2017-2018 school year. Recommend to approve the middle school, high school student handbook for the 2017-2018 school year. Recommend to approve the elementary staff handbook for the 2017-2018 school year. Recommend to approve the middle school, high school staff handbook for the 2017-2018 school year. Recommend to approve the following elementary school student fees for the 2017-2018 school year. Preschool is $45 and K through 12 is $55. Recommend to approve the following breakfast lunch prices for the 2017-2018 school year. Grades K through 5 breakfast is $1.25. Grades 6 through 12 breakfast is $1.25. Adult lunch is $2.95. K through 5 lunch is $2.35. 6 through 12 lunch is $2.65, and extra milk is 35 cents. Recommend to approve the certification of standards governing types of foods and beverages sold on school premises report from the Ohio Department of Education for the 2016-2017 school year. We do have some discussion with Mrs. Jones.
Okay, there's a couple things in the, I didn't ask Jeff, but the middle school, high school student handbook, page 15, there's an item about exams, and they.
That needs to be expunged.
That needs to be taken out. And then there are several places that it says it's up to the decision of the principal or the assistant principal, so those little things need to be taken out. There won't be an assistant principal since we don't have those anymore.
I would anticipate, as we transition to this new way, that I would think we end up with 3 handbooks. So, as this transitions, they'll get that separated and.
Get all the little keys out and
Yeah.
figure out
Any
what goes
way
where.
to make one?
Well,
I mean, or is that too, I mean,
I envision like the 5th and 6th grade kiddos kind of following the guide of the elementary handbook, so to speak. And as we educate them throughout the year, that next year this is going to look a little bit differently, but work with the parents. We're going to work with the parents on, certain things like dress code and that kind of stuff as we transition to this new system. I don't see any big issues at all. Certainly, the assistant principal, those kind of things are, so.
And then the only other thing was page 2, there's going to kind of clear up the guidance counselors to say high school guidance counselor, middle school. 'Cause right now they're just listed as, so those are the only.
Right. And, that will be certainly in, the news articles and stuff, my newsletter, that kind of stuff, and parent meetings and that kind of stuff at the beginning of the year, so.
I know that I already had to submit that though for the date book, so I just put the 5-8, K4, so I separated it, but I didn't really know what
For
language.
agendas, yeah.
Yeah, I didn't know what language we were doing. So,
Any other discussion on these topics? All right, roll call, please.
Carrier?
Yes.
Iden?
Yes.
Jones?
Yes.
Mazer?
Yes.
And Better?
Yes.
Motion passes 5-0. Anything as far as old business?
I just updated on land.
Yeah. And I said today, how many times did I say today, oh my God, I miss Anita. Anita had surgery, if you didn't know, so she's in recovery mode. And Melissa and I put the agendas together, so little glitches here and there. We apologize for
That's kind of an
that.
event all in itself.
Friday was something else, let me just tell you that. And I didn't have a voice. It was a day, but we made it. But the survey, I wanted to check with Anita today, and I didn't get that done since I've been back. I know before I left, we had not received that actual survey from the guy. I'll tell you, it's like pulling teeth to get that guy to come around. The survey's been done. Yeah, the stakes are there, but we do not have the paperwork.
Have we paid for the survey yet?
No.
Good.
Yeah, they haven't mailed for it to you.
No.
Okay.
So I have not checked with Anita because before I got back, she was already gone. So I will, it's on my list. And we've said all along, we're in no hurry to, so I don't have anybody beating down the door.
I know the village would like that there and stuff, it's like a couple of nice lots too.
But I've been telling them all along, what you guys have told me to say, which is, I'm not going to do anything until we get those surveys back. Am I correct?
That's correct.
Good. Good.
Did we find out if we have to have an auction?
No.
Is that what we have to do?
I will double check on that, but I'm going to say, I would think yes.
because you have to offer it to, you know what I mean? You can't pick and choose. It has to be like a public opening, unless you list it and then somebody gives the best offer, but
That's what we did last year.
I almost think we had to, I almost say that for a fact, but I almost thought we had to do that as a government entity.
if you're gonna give it to, like, say you're giving it to another governmental entity, like, say we were giving it to the village, then no. Or you're giving it to, I don't know, another governmental entity, you would not have to.
But if another government entity wanted to purchase it,
We
they'd have to go through
sold,
the auction.
Have to go through the auction.
we sold that last, that corner, we sold to the city.
Right.
I mean, granted, it was nominal fee, but we still
Right.
sold it.
Right,
So it
but
wasn't a
being
donation.
able to do that, it's more like a governmental thing, so you can do that with other,
Agencies.
governmental agencies. But if it's actually, I've always understood that if it's governmental property and you're trying to dispose of it, it has to be put up for bid. Best, the lowest, or highest and best, whatever. So that's always been my understanding.
Who was the other property? The village was there. I don't know if they placed bids or not, but they were there for that. So it went to the highest bidder.
That's where I was, I wish I could have been there. Especially going on here. Yeah. Don't know. So I've got that down, I'll find that out too, Derek.
Anything else that you would like to address as far as the business or other thoughts? We have under discussion the OSBA Capital Conference, November 12th, 14th, 2017, and that we do have to change the November board meeting date.
So I'm reduced today, that's good.
We don't have to decide today on that, just give us some thought on if you would want to attend that. And I think we should decide at the August meeting, though, don't we, when you have to register for that? We got time,
I would say,
September even?
I would say like probably, yeah, we can do it I think it was probably at the August meeting because we don't normally have a July meeting, so.
Yeah, but did they determine if they're gonna go then at the August meeting, or
I'm
did
gonna
they?
say it probably was, but I wouldn't.
I think we did too, so you could get rooms that were in the, the same building and,
Yeah. So think about it, that's the dates of it. Of course, Melissa and I will be going to the Capitol Conference.
I would love to go again. I went last year. I thought it was very educational, but I went last year, so somebody else can take it.
well, we can all go. I mean, there's been times where we've all
Yeah.
gone.
It's actually
I went-
falls, this year, it actually falls on a week that I can go. I haven't went in years.
You went the first year, I think everybody went that year.
Otherwise, Fab texted, yeah. So
Yeah.
that's the previous weeks.
Yeah, that's something you
So
go
just
every
think
year.
about that, and
Doesn't
we'll
have to
decide
be
that then in
I went
August,
this
right?
year, you go, you do whatever works for you.
It's
So-
nice when all five can go.
We've had board meetings down there.
Yeah, we had a board meeting.
Discuss, or,
We used to have
Work-
Kevin
work
work session
session.
at board meetings too.
Was you there my first year?
yeah.
Anybody that has any other comments for the board, questions?
Just one thing. A board member from a few years ago asked me about this weekend, and I didn't, I never really given any thought about it, but since we are an exempted village school district, we do not have a voice on the ESC board. But back in the day, we didn't use ESC services, and now we do. But legislation is such that if you're an exempted village school, you don't have a voice on the ESC office.
Really?
Yeah. So like other school districts in, or like Fairview, there's two representatives from Defiance County on the ESC board. So that Hicksville has no representation or opportunity for representation with that because we are an exempted village school district. So, but again, my understanding is correct. Back in the day, we didn't take any money from them, but now we contract quite a few services through them, but we have no voice on the board.
I know at Ford County, not all the schools have a voice there. And
That's
and
correct.
how does that work, do you know?
Through the ESC office. The ESC appoints a person to the Fort County board. There's one from Defiance County, Williams County, Fulton County, and what county? Henry County.
But I mean, as far as
Henry
you're
County
on
don't
the,
have it. Thinking for a second, I don't think Henry County has a member from the ESC office, but
I mean, you're on the 4-county board, but there's, some schools don't have anybody on the 4-county board.
That's true.
And do you know how that, that's what I'm curious, how that,
I
how they
can't tell
decided
you, I
it?
can't tell you in a specific way how that was set up or decided back in the day, but you're right, not all school districts have a voice on the 4-county board. They have a voice through their ESC office.
So you're looking for a way that we can change the situation?
Yeah, it's through legislation, it's how it's legislated. I did not know that until this weekend.
I wrote that down, so you can check on that.
Yeah, the facts of it all, I don't know, but it was a previous board member that certainly knew a lot more about it than what I did, and they had researched it in previous years, and had tried to get with legislation to get it changed, but I thought he brought up a very good point. You know, we employ their services, but we have no voice.
Check on Carrie, too, maybe see what she.
I would recommend also that we go into executive session for number 1. So there won't be any motions through that, any changes through that, but we will go into discussion. So the regular meeting, for all practical intents and purposes, is over, and our next meeting will be on Monday.
August, what?
August 14th.
Monday, August 14th at 6 o'clock. Does that work for people, or?
I will be out of town. I mean, I don't have to be here that I know of, but I will be out of town with work that day,
August?
August 14th.
Okay. So if you decide you want to, well, I'll get with you.
Okay.
And with that being said, we will meet back in here for executive session and move to go into executive session about 5 minutes, so 7:09, 7:10.
Oh, need a motion.
Well, we-